Sweet, savory, and astonishingly easy. My peach-rosemary glaze is the secret sauce for transforming your Thanksgiving turkey and putting boring old turkeys to shame. First things first, getting the turkey holiday ready. You want to put the turkey in the refrigerator for about 3 to 4 days to give it adequate time to thaw out, because you don't want any frozen turkeys going into the oven. That is a no-no. Next, you take the turkey out of the fridge once it's thawed and let it come to room temperature for about an hour, hour and a half, so that way you have a nice, even cooked turkey once you put it in the oven. So first things first, let's get the turkey ready. This plastic truss right here, we want to get rid of that because we don't need that. Easy enough. And then, as always, you want to go ahead and pat the turkey dry. So paper towels, and remove all of that residual moisture from the turkey, because whenever you're cooking a turkey, you want that nice, crisp, golden brown, beautiful turkey skin. And this is going to be step number 1 in ensuring that happens. So get up under the wings, get the legs, get all over the breast. All right, so that looks pretty good. Next step, what you want to do is season our turkey. So it's a pretty big bird, so I want to ensure that all that salt, that pepper adheres and sticks onto the turkey. So what we have here is a little bit of oil, okay? And just get up in there, massage it, caress the turkey. Make sure every single square inch, again, is covered with that olive oil. You know, get friendly with the turkey. All right, so once you rub the turkey all over, give your hands a little dry, all right? And then we move on to the seasoning. Again, as always, whether it's poultry, whether it's steak, whether it's seafood, I like opting for kosher salt and cracked black pepper because it provides 2 cues. It gives you a visual cue. You can visually see the salt and the pepper on there, and it just tastes better. All right, so salt. And you want to season from high, so that way you're not getting, you know, saturated areas with salt and pepper. You want to season it evenly. And again, it's a pretty big bird, so be very generous with seasoning. It'll make all the difference. Okay, so salt. You could do fresh cracked pepper or coarse cracked pepper. And again, season from high. And as far as ratios go, about, you know, half of what you season with salt, we do with black pepper. Okay, so once we have sufficiently seasoned our turkey, we want to go ahead and truss the legs. So we're going to take these legs right here, and we're going to tie them up with twine. Now, when it comes to twine, you want something that's all natural cotton cooking twine, so that way no chemicals, no additives, and it won't affect the flavor, the taste, and it won't burn in the oven. So this right here, this is best you can find at your local grocery store, farmer's market, online, relatively easy to find. So we're going to use about 12 to 14 inches, not too much. And what I want to do is, I want to first start out by tying a knot around one of the legs. So take that simple knot. We all know how to tie our shoelaces, like that, over and under. And then we just kind of take the turkey hostage, so to speak. All right, so you take it like this, put it around that to kind of cinch it, and then you just kind of follow it, and just kind of zigzag over, under. And it's gonna kind of cinch it and kind of tighten it and make sure that it does not move. So maybe, you know, 1 or 2 loops, again, over, under, and then you just tie it off. All right, so now that we've sufficiently seasoned our turkey, we've trussed the legs, I have my oven going at 425. That's super important, super paramount on getting that crispy turkey skin. It's gonna do 2 things. It's gonna jumpstart that lovely crisping process on the outside of the turkey, get that GBD, which we all know is golden brown delicious, and then we drop it down to 350 to get that moist, juicy, flavorful turkey meat. So before we do that, let's plop our fella here in the roasting pan, get him ready to go into the oven. We got a beautiful glaze coming up next, and don't move, don't miss a step, because I know he won't. Isn't that right, fella? Now, it's super important before you do anything else, immediately after you're done cleaning and seasoning the turkey, you want to wash your hands for at least 30 to 40 seconds with hot, soapy water. Okay, so we're gonna get our turkey going at 425 for the first 10 minutes. Now, once you have it in there for 10 minutes, we're gonna drop that heat down to 350 and continue to roast our turkey. All right, so let's get prepping on our peach rosemary glaze. We got a couple things here you wanna start out with, our aromatics. So we have our shallots, garlic, and rosemary. It's gonna give our peach rosemary glaze a nice savory note to complement the sweetness of the peach preserves. So we want about a 1/4 cup of minced shallot. So again, remove the stems and the base, because we don't want that. Okay, slice it in half. Remove the skin, because we also do not want that. So let's go ahead and just, mince our shallot. So again, using our trick where we cut a couple slices in on the side, come down like this, slice down. This is where having a sharp knife really comes in handy. And do the same to the other. Again, fingernails guiding you, holding it and using your knuckles to protect yourself. That way you're not cutting your finger. All right, we have our shallots. So let's put that in the ramekin. Next, we want garlic, about 2 cloves. So again, using the palm of your hand, that's gonna release the cloves from the bulb. All right, so 2, medium-sized garlic cloves like so. And using the knife again, smash that down, give you a nice head start on releasing that skin from the garlic clove. Separate that, smash it one more time, and then just kind of mince. Start out with a rough chop, bring it all back into a nice pile, and just let the knife do the work. Just enough where you don't want big chunks of garlic for this particular recipe. That looks pretty good. And let's not forget our rosemary, about a tablespoon. And again, we just kind of want to mince that. Letting the knife do the work, using your fingernails to secure it so it's not moving all over the place. And just get some nice minced rosemary going. And remember, you don't want to bruise the herbs, bruise the vegetables, so it's very important to have a nice sharp knife. Because when you start bruising herbs especially, they get brown and you start to lose some of that intense flavor. Sharp knife, clean cuts. That looks good. Again, about a tablespoon. All right, so that right there are the beginning steps and components to our peach rosemary glaze. Shallots, garlic, rosemary. Next up, we're gonna go to the stove and get the rest of the glaze components together. Make it happen. First things first, a little bit of olive oil. Get that started. We're going to saute off our aromatics. So bring that up to medium-high heat. All right, I think we're good to go. Looking for that sizzle, there we go. All right, shallots, minced garlic, rosemary. Smells so good, that nice piney citrus kind of note you get from it. We just kind of saute all this together. All right, next we add the rest of our ingredients. We're gonna add chicken stock. We're going to add peach preserves, really tasty, really good. Worcestershire sauce with that nice salty umami bite. And you always want to season with salt and pepper because you want to have balance. Salty, sweet, acidic, citrus, got all engines going. Okay, once all that is in our pot, whisk, whisk, whisk to break down the peach preserves. Get everything nice and incorporated. Bring that to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, we're gonna reduce it down to a simmer, about medium heat. Let that go for 8 minutes and let it reduce down to about 1/4 in volume. So that way it's super concentrated and it's gonna create that nice glaze. So let it do its thing. All right, so after about 8 minutes, that's reduced down by about 1/4 in volume. You want it nice and syrupy and glaze-like consistency, so we're good. After about 2.5 hours in the oven, we wanna go ahead and do a little safety check on our turkey. Start to look nice and golden brown. Wanna pull that out. And at this point, we wanna start glazing the turkey with this delicious peach rosemary glaze. And the thing is with this glaze, you don't wanna start glazing it too early or basting it with this glaze because there's sugar in there from the preserves. And you don't want the sugar to burn and over caramelize. We're gonna do about 1/2 of the glaze. And then you let it go for about another 15 minutes or so. And we're gonna glaze it with the other 1/2 of the peach glaze. All right, now after that 15 minutes with the glaze, the initial glaze on there, we want to glaze it a second time. Now what that's going to do is add to that crispy turkey skin, but also allow that glaze to get really lacquered by hitting it 2 times with the glaze. Just be generous. Once we add the remaining glaze on our turkey, we're gonna put that back into the oven, continue cooking that for about another 15 to 30 minutes. And once that reaches 160, we're gonna take it out, let it carry over cook, and finish at that perfect 165 for a juicy, crispy, succulent turkey. Now, once our turkey has fully cooked, you wanna let it rest. That's gonna redistribute the heat, the juices, and get it nice and juicy and flavorful, and keep the juices and the flavor inside the turkey where it belongs. All right, so we're gonna make our cranberry orange sauce to complement with our roasted turkey. So we're gonna use the whole orange, zest, and as well as the juice of 1 whole orange. It's gonna make your life a whole lot simpler to go ahead and zest first and then juice. Trust me, you don't wanna do it the other way around. So first things first, we have our zester and our orange. And just what you wanna do is just take the zester, just kinda do that thing right there. Okay? And you get all over. Once the orange starts to expose the white part, which is underneath the skin or the zest, you wanna start to rotate it. Watch your fingers, you need those. All right, that looks pretty good to me. What do you think? All right. You have the zest, just kinda do one of these things to get all of that, a little tap, 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 tap action. That's gonna give you that really extreme, intense, nice tangy flavor. All right, now once you've successfully zested the orange, you wanna slice it in half and get all of that delicious juice from out of it. All right, so you slice it in half like so. And we have our juicer here. You can feel free to use it by hand, just doing one of these numbers, but to really get all the juice out of it, feel free to use a juicer. No wrong ways, as long as you're extracting all that juice, it's a win-win. All right, so you just kind of rotate it and just keep juicing until the juice stops coming out. Get a nice little workout with this right here. And pretty much you're looking for that right there. All the juice has been extracted. Repeat with the other half. You just pour all that juice that's been extracted. Now, some small seeds might escape, so you want to strain that a second time to get rid of the seeds. But the important thing is that we got all the juice out of our orange. Orange zest, orange juice, ready to make our cranberry orange sauce. Coming up next. So first things first we want to go ahead and put our Grand Marnier, a cup, into our sauce pot. I like putting it in before the sauce pot has gotten hot because it'll sizzle, it'll pop if you add it to a hot pot. So let that kind of go in there, then come up to temp. We want to let that reduce by half. Let it do its thing. All right, so once the Grand Marnier starts coming to a boil, you reduce that to medium heat, and then you reduce it down to half in volume. So I'll put that lid back on there, let it do its thing. You don't want to let it go too fast because it might over-reduce, it might burn it, it might scorch it. So slow and steady is the name of the game. All right, so once that's reduced by half in volume, we're gonna add the rest of our ingredients. The fresh orange juice, the zest, a little more orange juice as well for that extra concentrated orange flavor. I'm gonna add in sugar, stir that a bit, it dissolves. Then we're gonna add in nice tart cranberries. So you bring this all to a boil, put the lid on one more time. Once that comes to a boil, reduce that heat again to medium, let it go for 12 to 14 minutes until it's syrupy and sauce-like and jammy. All right, so after about 12 to 14 minutes, that's reduced and got nice and jammy and flavorful. The cranberries are broken down. It's soaked up all that flavorful liquid from the Grand Marnier, the orange juice, the orange zest. So we take this off, let this reduce, and that'll be ready. After your turkey has rested for about 30 minutes, serve it up with the zesty cranberry orange sauce for a mouth-watering holiday feast that's sure to impress your guests and have them coming back for seconds and maybe even thirds. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out omahasteaks.com/blog for more great Thanksgiving recipes and tips.